much of these wars, you see, you know, some of them they are choreographed and some of them they are fueled, so that they are able, or those states, there are some states which are very selfish. Of course, many states they advance selfish interests, but on them they are very selfish indeed. And they advance, they choreograph these wars. These wars, they are never ending because they are here, they are fighting for years, they are never ending. But when you look at how they have been playing business, of course, these people, they are taking more resources from Africa into their countries, but in the name of we are here for a peacekeeping mission, so Africa will be fooled about it. So this is an issue that African also needs to talk about. And the major player here in African is African Union. And the African Union has a sole duty, of course, to try to figure out how they can try to unite the African security agencies and African militaries and form a one regional force that will be able to fight wars within Africa. Because major wars within Africa, they are not interstates, or they are not states fighting with other states.
We're happy for that. Okay.
We're
happy for that. Yes.
We're happy for that. It doesn't have a cases of nations fighting with other nations, unless some evil spirits gets into us. we doesn't want that. But most of the cases here we are playing here is issue of extremism, terrorism, counter-terrorism. That's the war that we are fighting. And you look at how we have been fighting these wars. I mean, we are fighting, or we are counter-terrorism. We are fighting terrorism day in, day out, years after years. But these people, they are still advancing. How are they advancing? So these people have weapons. These weapons have they have guns.
Well, see, the question is this. Sorry, I'm causing you shop, but this is something important.
Yes.
See, these jihadists, terrorists cannot be advancing if someone or some people are not funding them.
Yeah, exactly, sure.
Okay, so you guys in the security area, have you guys found out who is funding these groups?
So these groups are advancing. They have kept advancing, and then we have so many militaries that are coming here. So we have so many organizations that have come here. So you look at, we are also joining forces as African states to fight these terrorists. And of course, our war is just, and our war is genuine, because we want to eradicate these kind of groups that have made us not to develop. They have made us to actually be
to eradicate them. We need to know who is funding them.
The cause of it is that we have people within those peripheries of the wars and within the interested parties of the war that are actually ditching intelligence, and they're actually not infiltrating actually the military part of the war. And of course, now they are supporting the extremism advancement. So we have an issue of getting who is this person who has been fighting these wars? Is it the African government, or is it the international actors and non-state actors that are doing this? So because we have states that have been interested with African nations, of course, they are destabilizing African nations so they can take advantage of it, and then they can root from Africans. They are rooters. They want to root everything from Africans, and then they actually are trying to come here and trying to
because my brother, see, these jihadists are Africans, right?
Yeah, sure.
Good. And whatever guys they have, they are people both internally in Africa and externally the world over, funding those people. Okay, so see, for them to have the means and the logistic to bring in their weapons constantly, that means these people have people in across African governments that allow them or aid them to do what they're doing. See, like you said, we don't have intercountry wars, and I'm happy for that. I'm very happy for that. But these jihadists are very dangerous. And like you said, it hasn't allowed us to develop. There are so many regions of Africa that young people cannot go to school because of the activities of these jihadists. And if they don't go to school, they miss school, they can't be economically productive. And then what will happen? They join the ranks of the jihadists. Hey!
we have some men and some people who are in business with it. Some people who will get some support from international communities and then non-state actors, because they are not only governments who are interested with this. There are some multinational corporations that are interested with destabilizing countries so that they can advance their commerce. So we have an issue of trying to figure out how these multinational also corporations, they are growing those how that powerful to be able to infiltrate governments and to be able to actually destabilize a region, because the security issue in Africa is diffuse. The security, the issue, the threat on extremism here in Africa is extreme. You look at, there's no region in Africa that is not affected by this challenge of extremism. The Sahel, the Lake Chad basin, you are looking at the Horn of Africa, and then we are looking also in the southern hemisphere, the Mozambique, and
exactly.
Every region in Africa is actually affected. But who are the most affected countries? Is it countries with no natural resource? No. There are some countries with the much natural resources, the much war you will fight, the much extremism you will get. So those countries with natural resources, look at a country like Mozambique that have actually the lithium, the gold. Look at a country like Congo that is more rich of natural resources. You know, these countries, the full rich of natural resources, they're the countries that are experiencing more jihadism, more Islamic extremism. So it's an issue that we should, as Africa, try to figure out how are these extremism advancing. So, and how can we try to actually look on ways that we can be able not to, we can be able to eradicate this extremism. Doesn't mean that these weapons are made in Africa. Of course, so many governments in Africa, of course, they try to, they import their own weapons to fund their militaries. So much of them, the weapons these extremists are using, either one, they are smuggled into the continent, or they are part and parcel of the government of the regime that is actually some of the governments may want to destabilize their own countries so that they can be able to retain in power. It's true. That's the one way of retaining power. They're destabilizing, they bring security issues so that they can take advantage of it and retain into power. So with this man of the big man syndrome, we also that thing of big man syndrome, we were watching about it because there are some people who want to maintain in power, and they use all means to be to retain in power. we are developing countries, so we should be able to get out of that cocoon and comfort zone of fighting this extremism now and then. Because it's an issue of trying to get to the agenda of 2063 of the African Union of trying to fight this terrorism and getting an African is a secure space for Africans and also for enterprises that are interested to do business here in Africa.
Yeah. Wow. Man. See, it's a big issue. You know,
it's a very big issue. It's a large issue actually. It's very diverse, and actually we should contextualize about it. And if we are getting a genuine aid, we should get a genuine aid to try to eradicate this problem from our international communities, allies, and friends from the international communities.
Well, yeah. See, you guys in the security and geopolitical space, you guys needs to be informing the rest of the country, the continent, about what is going on. See,